Okay, I have a 2004 Dodge Ram 1500. This is the 5.7 liter Hemi version. What I'm doing here is replacing the exhaust manifold gasket. I did put in a rebuilt engine, and the gaskets that came with the remanufactured or the rebuilt engine, against my better judgment, I went with them. I'll show you them in a minute. But basically, what you want to do is jack up your truck and put a jack stand in for some extra safety. You'll want to remove the plastic wheel well liner, and that'll give you clear access to the exhaust manifold and the exhaust pipe. So I apologize, I already jumped into this a little, but I removed the bolts from the exhaust pipe. Then I had access to all of the bolts on the exhaust manifold, backed those out. I didn't have any problems with those. If you have some that are broken, there is another video on how to remove a broken exhaust manifold bolt. It's look, guy does a nice job, shows how you can actually weld on a nut on the top of the bolt and back it out like its own bolt. So that was pretty cool. So if you have that problem, check out that video. But anyways, so I was able to break loose all of the bolts and remove that. The problem I have with the manifold, and I'll show that to you here, the old gasket. So the original gasket that I had was a metal one like this. It's two metal layers. As you can see, has a raised edge around the exhaust port. The new gasket that came with the engine was this metal one. It's sort of a thinner pressed metal. There was a little layer of something in between. I think it was some sort of gasket material, but essentially what happened was this compressed over time, and that inner part let out, and then so the whole exhaust manifold became loose against the head. And so what I had was some blow-by leaking. You'll hear it. It'll sound like basically like you have a hole in your exhaust pipe. It'll hear a popping, or it almost sounds a little bit like a noisy lifter. But when you get in closer, even if you just stick your head in the engine and the wheel well when it's running, you'll start to hear the popping noise. And if you can get your hand under there, you can probably feel the blow-by. But anyways, so what I'm doing here is going with this the original metal gasket part. I've cleaned off my manifold. I'm going to go clean the head now. But anyways, this was a part I got from was Rock Auto. It's the Fel Pro all metal versions of the exhaust manifold. So anyways, I'll pick it up later on as we finish up this job. Okay, I've cleaned up my manifold and got my new gasket. I cleaned up all my bolts too, just to make sure that they're in good shape. I'll put some high temperature never sees on them. I also have this shield that goes over the manifold. It's rotted out and old. I got a new one for the other side when I rebuilt the engine, but I couldn't find this one online. So I ended up just soldering in some fender washers, or welding them in. It's an ugly weld, but because this is a really thin piece of metal, but I think it'll hold. This one holds a little bit larger than I'd like, so I'll probably just sandwich it with a couple of fender washers, like I did before, just to hold that, to give that amount. But anyways, just to keep some of the heat off of the hoses and other things in the area. So anyways, that's all cleaned up and ready to go back together. I've cleaned off the block, and I'm ready to reassemble. Okay, so we're finished up now. So I've got my heat shield back on there. Manifold went on nice. Just for your reference, for the Hemi engine, It's 18 foot-pounds for the manifold bolts, and then 132 inch-pounds for these little nuts that hold the heat shield on. So, that's it. Okay, and don't forget to reconnect your exhaust flange. And anyways, that's about it. Hopefully this will help you if you run into the same problem. Have a great day. God bless.